Hi friends, Brandy here with Stitch in My Dreams. I thought it'd be fun to make a free pumpkin tutorial. I freehanded this one because I wanted the stem to be no-sew and I wanted it to be a cute little pumpkin that was easy to make for markets, and it would also be cute just for decoration if you didn't want to put a face on it. So let's get started. We're going to take your stem color first, and I'm using a 5mm crochet hook and burnout blanket yarn, and we are going to do a magic ring. And then we are going to crochet 4 into that magic ring. Okay, here is me starting the magic ring. Sorry, I'm a little off the camera. If you're not sure how to do a magic ring, there are plenty of YouTube videos on how to do it. Then we are going to place 4 single crochets into the magic ring. So you just crochet in the loop and over the tail. Single crochet in the loop and over the tail. Okay, we have 4 in the magic ring, and then we are going to pull it tight by pulling on that tail. Just be careful not to pull too hard because you can break the yarn. Then we are going to put our stitch marker in, and we are going to move on to the next round. In this round, we are going to be doing a single crochet and then an increase times 2. And that will bring us to a total of 6 single crochets in this round. All right, we're done with that round, and we are going to move our stitch marker, and then round 3 is just going to be 6 single crochets. All right, let's move our stitch marker again, and then we have 2 more rounds of 6 single crochets. So I am actually just going to flip this stem inside or right side out now to make it easier, and so we can tuck that little tail and we'll be on the correct side of the single crochets. And let's just finish up the next 2 rounds. All right, we are done with the 5th round of the stem, and now we're just going to cut that yarn off, leaving a small tail. because we are done with the stem color now. And I'm going to pull that through and pull it tight a little bit. And I'm going to tuck that beginning tail into the stem. There's no need to stuff the stem if you're using burlap yarn, but you might want to stuff it if you're using a thinner yarn or acrylic yarn, but it's just up to you. Now I am changing over to the pumpkin color. I am using burlap blanket mystical yarn, and I believe the color is called Canyon. I think it is like the perfect fall color. Alright, so I have the stem here and my new color, and I go into the next stitch after we tied that yarn off to add my new one in, and I just pull that through there and I do a single crochet, and we're doing increases in every stitch, so I'm going to do another single crochet in that same spot, and we are going to do increases all the way around, so it will be 12 single crochets when we're finished with this round. Okay, we finished that round. We'll move our stitch marker, and then I like to tie the little tails together a couple knots just to keep it more secure, and then I just keep it on the inside. No need to cut them off. You'll see there's this little space there in between the yarn colors, but that's okay. Once we crochet over it, it'll be covered up. So you're going to go into the first stitch of the last round in the pumpkin color. And in this one, we are going to be doing a single crochet and then an increase all the way around. So at the end of this round, we will have 18 single crochets. All right, we'll finish that round and I will meet you on the next one. Okay, in this round, we are going to be doing 2 single crochets and then an increase. So 1, 2, and then an increase, which is 2 in the same stitch. So we'll be doing that all the way around. This next round is going to be 3 single crochets and then an increase. right, done with that round. So let's move our stitch marker. And then in this round, we are going to be doing 4 single crochets and an increase all the way around. We will have 36 single crochets at the end of this round. Okay, this is what your pumpkin should be looking like now. And let's move that stitch marker. For the next round, we are going to be doing just 36 single crochets all around. And we are going to be doing that for the next 7 rounds. So 36 single crochets for the next 7 rounds. And I will meet you back at the video when you complete those. Okay, this is what your pumpkin should look like after we finish those 7 rounds of 36 single crochets. Okay, in this round we are going to be doing 4 single crochets and a decrease times 6. And at the end of this round, you should have 30 single crochets. Okay, in this next round, we are going to be doing 3 single crochets and a decrease times 6. So you will have 24 single crochets when you're done with this round. All right, in this round, we are going to be doing 2 single crochets and a decrease times 6, and you will have 18 single crochets at the end of this round. Okay, here is when we're going to insert the safety eyes, if you'd like to use safety eyes. I'm using 16 millimeter here, but of course you can choose whatever size you would like, or you can choose no eyes at all, just to have it as a regular fall decoration. But you start counting the rows from the very top of the stem, remember, because we didn't sew that on. And they are going to be between rows 12 and 13. I decided to make this pattern having the eyes 6 stitches apart. The first one I did was 7 stitches apart. It's really your preference. Both look cute. So yeah, here is the one I did with 7 stitches apart. And then the one I'm making now is 6 inches apart. Here's one with, or 6 stitches apart. I keep saying inches, but 6 stitches apart. I'm just showing you what it looks like if it didn't have eyes. These are just the backs. Now we are gonna stuff our pumpkin, and I stuff it pretty full, but not too full because you want to be able to pull that yarn through and squish it down with the indentations. All right, that's looking good for now. We're going to move on to the next round where we do a single crochet and a decrease all the way around, and then we could put a little more stuffing in. You will have 12 single crochets at the end of this round. When you're done with that round, you can add the rest of your stuffing in. All right, we've added enough stuffing, and then we are going to do the last round, which is 6 decreases all the way around. All right, we are finishing our last round on this pumpkin. You can take out your stitch marker. So we are going to need a long enough tail to sew the hole closed, plus wrap around the whole pumpkin to get the little indentations. So I kind of just like loosely wrap it around. I like to do it 5 indentations. So I'm just going to loosely wrap it around 5 times. You'll have plenty if you do this because you're actually pulling it tight inside the pumpkin. So I do that. Cut it off. Since I have my cutting mat here, I'll just measure how long the tail actually is. So it is about 40 inches long. You probably don't need that long. You could probably do 35. But I did 40 here. And then you're going to pull that through, tighten it up a bit. All right, so you're going to need your darning needle. I fold my yarn in half like that to stick it through the needle eye. It makes it a little bit easier. Then we are going to sew this hole closed. Since it's a really long tail, it's probably easier to pull the yarn through each stitch or a couple stitches, because when I have tried just to put it all through the stitches and then pull. Sometimes it's a little tough or gets stuck. Then we're going to pull that closed. So now this is a little bit of a tough part. We have to stick our needle all the way through the center of the pumpkin. So you're just going to start from the bottom and push it through. It should be squishy enough where you shouldn't have an issue. You're going to put it all the way up through that first round between the pumpkin color and the stem color. And then you're going to wrap it around all the way back to the bottom. And then put the needle back through the bottom. And you kind of want to line it up where you want to put the next indentation, the next piece of yarn, and squish it through there. And then you're going to pull it up, and then you're going to pull that one tight as you want to make it. I try to pull it a little tighter because it comes a little bit loose. Then you're going to make your next indentation where you want it. And I don't stick the needle through the exact same hole through the bottom every time. I just change it around a little so it doesn't stretch out one certain stitch. So then you're going to come back up through the stem area, pull that tight, and just look at it and see where you want to put the next indentation. Like I said, I use enough to make 5. Some people like 6, but I think 5 is good. And I always put one right down the center between the eyes because you don't want to put it like close to the eyes because then one might look all wonky if you're pulling it tight next to it. So just put one down the center of the eyes. And then that will be the last indentation, and then just stick it through the bottom again, out through the top. And pull it tight. And since that's the last one, I just put it back through the top, down through the bottom, and you can just do that at a stitch close to it, close to the stem. So then I can pull it tight again. And yeah, then it looks good. So then I just kind of weave it in and out the bottom. It's like super tight down there, so it holds it well. So do it a few times in and out there. Yep, and then make sure everything looks good. Some of the fluffs came out. And then I just cut my yarn off and then tuck it in with the point of my scissors. Yep, so everything looks good. The eyes are even. Give them a little squish. And then next we're going to sew the mouth in. I just use a black acrylic yarn, probably a piece that's like 12, 13 inches long. And then you're gonna need your darning needle again. And then I start through the bottom, and then you put the needle poked out where you want the mouth to start and pull it through so you leave a small tail left at the bottom. And then you're going to put the next one in where you want the mouth to end. And this is where I make the smile kind of rounded. So I do 2 stitches like this, one on each end. And so you do the stitch, tuck it under, and then you put the needle back in the same exact hole. So then, and you want to keep it on the same row if you want his smile even. So yep, put that under there and around, and then put the needle back into the same hole, and then you're going to push the needle back into the same hole the tail is at the bottom. So then you kind of adjust it. Yep, smile looks good. If you want the smile like a V, you only put one stitch in the center and it'll bring it down like a V, but I like it rounded, so I put the 2 stitches. Now we're done, so you can tie a knot here a couple times to make it secure. And then we're going to cut off the extra ends. And then we are going to tuck it in. And you can tuck it in because you put it out through the same exact hole. You got to make sure so then it's not sticking out on the outside, tied between 2 stitches. Yep, and he looks good. Our pumpkin is complete. Here's the other ones I made. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you love your cute little pumpkins.